Greetings, everyone. I hope you're all good and keeping safe during this difficult time. So today's we are doing grade 7 lesson. I'm not gonna at least disclose the topic as yet because I want you guys to figure it out yourselves. Anyway, here on my chart I've got the different types of texts that we've already are familiar with them as we've done them in previous grades. We've done your diary writing, your creative writing, advertisement, and so forth. But here I want you guys to look carefully on what kind of texts are these? Where do they fall under? Think about that, and you can pause the video whilst you're looking carefully at the text. So we've got my summer, how I spent my last Saturday, and picnic fun. So please pause the video whilst and look carefully at what is really happening in this text so that you can get the jinx of it and try to figure out what kind of texts these are. So the previous text that I showed you guys was actually narrative essays. So I'm sure you're familiar with them since you guys did it in grade 4, 5, 6. As much as it wasn't intense, so today I will be teaching you more in depth on narrative essays, on what they really are about, right? Alright, so narrative essay, it is a piece of writing that tells a story. So always a narrative essay tells us a story of what happened, right? And the story is often told from your point of view. You are telling the events as you were in it. You are telling the events from your point of view, meaning that you'll be mentioning I's, me, my, mine, and all of that, right? And then it can be something that happened to you or someone else, meaning that you are telling the story from something that happened to you, what you experienced probably during your summer holidays or maybe your last Saturdays or something like that, right? And then when the reader reads your story, they must be able to follow the events easily. The events should be in a logical order, meaning that you start how the story started and end how the story ended. You cannot start the story with how the story ends. It won't make sense to the reader, right? The reader should almost see what you're talking about from your choice of words. The words that you use in your story should make the reader almost see what you're talking about. The way you describe a person, the way you describe a place, use words that will make a person almost see the place or the person, be like, wow. I am actually envisioning what the writer was talking about. So that is what a narrative essay is. So now I want you to think about a narrative story that you've read or something that has happened to you that you can be able to write it in a narrative essay. Think about it and you can also pause the video. Right. So moving along, we'll be now going to the features of a narrative essay. So what are the features of a narrative essay? Features of a narrative essay include your opening sentence, your characters, your plot, as well as your ending. So your opening sentence, you should always make sure that it is always interesting and it sets the scene for your story. So what do I mean by that? So an opening statement as the first sentence, it should always be captivating, have the reader be interested on what are you gonna say in the story. This story is quite interesting, right? And make sure that it sets the scene, meaning that it tells us the setting of the story. Where does it happen? When does it happen? And also, how does it happen? The, that is your opening statement. Now, sentence. Then we have your characters. Characters are who the story is about. They can be many or just you. They can be about you or many people that are in a story. And then we've got a plot. A plot is what happens in the story. The events should follow a logical order. Remember what I said when I was explaining narrative essay? I did mention that they should have a logical order, meaning the events are following each other in a logical manner. And then we've got an ending. So an ending is the most important part as well, just like your first sentence, which is your topic sentence. Your first sentence, which is your topic sentence, as well as your ending are very important, because now the ending tells us how the story ends. It also tells the reader what happens in the story, what really happens in the end, right? So now I'm gonna read to you guys a narrative essay. I want you, as I am reading the narrative essay, to listen carefully, because there are questions that you'll be required to answer. Those questions will include the features of a narrative essay. You can pause the video, or as you are familiarizing yourself with the features of the narrative essay. So, my story goes like this. The day my relatives arrived, there was great excitement. My mother polished the floors till they were slippery, and Gogo baked delicious cakes. Our house smelled like a bakery. You see, my uncle Mpo was getting married. Then I thought I was in a dream. A beautiful lady in a red sari walked our way. My sister said she was our new aunt. It was like a Cinderella has walked out of a fairy tale into my life. She came to us and smiled a coquette smile. Then she swept us into her arms. My, just look at the two of you. Mpo said you were darlings. I'm Smita. It wasn't until my Aunt Tammy arrived that the street was really crowded with people. When she got out of her car, everyone turned to look at the tall lady with hair the color of corn and the brightest blue eyes. This is when I suddenly realized how special we were. Our family was truly a rainbow one. I hope we all stay close and get to spend many happy days together. So this story has all the features of a narrative essay, right? Then I will have the story in the screen so that you can pause and reread through it, as well as look at the questions that I made. So the first question is, what is the topic sentence of the opening paragraph? We have it as our feature. What, name 3 of the characters. What is the plot of the story? Write the events of the story in the order they happened. And how does the story end? So, in the previous story, we read about the excitement that was in the story regarding meeting new relatives. Now, so now I'm gonna read the answers out to you so that you can check if you wrote the same answers as I did. If ever there's somewhere where you did a wrong answer, it is okay. You can rewind the video and restart it again so that you can understand the features of a narrative essay so that you can be able to understand it in future, and you can also rework the answers again and do it again when you've replayed the video from the start. Alright, so our first question was, what is the topic sentence of the opening paragraph? So the topic sentence of the opening paragraph was, there was great excitement. My mother polished the floors till they were slippery and Gogo baked delicious cakes. So this opening statement gets us excited about what are we gonna read about exactly. It keeps us interested in reading the story further, right? And then the second question was, name three of the characters. So the characters could be the mother, Mpho, the mother, the uncle, which was Mpho, the aunt, which was Smita, the aunt that they were describing as a Cinderella, which was Smita. And then it was the aunt Tembi that arrived later on, as well as, yes, the last one was the aunt, which arrived later on, which was Tembi. So, but they only needed three characters. You can also add all of them or add only three, as well as the sister. Describe what is the plot of the story. So the plot of the story is how the events follow through. So firstly, there was excitement that there were relatives that are gonna come. The mother polished, the gogo baked delicious cakes, and then the beautiful lady arrived, which turns out to be the aunt, which was Usmita, and then there was another aunt that came in, which was Tembi, that was tall with the hair with the color of a corn. And then lastly, that's when the reader realized, the writer, realized that wow, our family is so special and our family is like a rainbow nation, right? So the plot is as well the events of the story, how they happen from the start until finished. And then how does the story end? The story ends with the writer now saying that appreciating their family, that they're indeed a rainbow nation. So it ends as, this is when I suddenly realized how special we were. Our family was truly a rainbow one. I hope you all stay close and get to spend many happy days together. So that's how our story ends. Right. So today we learned about narrative essays, right? So the first part we firstly explored different types of texts which were actually narrative texts. We've got my summer, how I spent my last Saturday, picnic fun. All of these were narrative essays. Why again did you say they were narrative essays? We say they were narrative essays because they had features of a narrative essays. Those features were the opening sentence, the characters, the plot, as well as the ending. So all of these parts work together to bring about a narrative essay, right? So I want you guys to think of, rather not think of, write down a narrative story based on the experience that you had during your school trip. the last school trip that you went to, what really happened, what was exciting about it, what was boring about it, exactly what really happened during that school trip. I want you to write it down as your narrative essay, and remember to include all the features of a narrative essay in that story. Make sure that your events are in logical order, your opening sentence is interesting, your characters are there, your plot is flowing, as well as your ending is interesting, and it tells us, it sums up exactly what happened in during your school trip. And thank you.